Hi, I'm Eric Summerer, and here's what's coming from the Dice Tower this week.
Okay, I think I'm safe here. I apologize for the secret location, but my daughter's birthday is today. Hooray, she's 10, and she invited like 10 girls over. And you already know I'm somewhat outnumbered, so I've got to hide. So we're here to talk about board gaming news. I guess good news, though, would be to tell you that in January, I'm looking forward to the birth of my 7th daughter. Her name's going to be Sunny Summer. A daughter. It's good to have lots of daughters, I hear. All right, well, let's get to the board game news. First of all, Quarriors is coming out with a new expansion called Quest of the Gladiator. It's a quawesome quick expansion. Okay. Apparently, if you keep using Qs. But what this expansion is going to have is it's going to have locked dice with the symbols locked on them. So when you roll these dice, you'll stick them in a special area, and they'll stay in that area, giving you a continual beneficial effect until they're removed by other players. Other players can pay to remove them and such. So that seems interesting. Telestrations is going to be on a game show in Chicago. I think it's a pretty cool game. That might be fun. White Goblin for the past week has shown off 7 new games, one every day, starting on Monday on Facebook. Today they have an announcement about Radis. I don't know what it is yet. You'll have to go check it out. But you can see that they've had multiple games coming out where they're giving information. All of these games will be released at Essen 2012. SolForge, we talked about this earlier, has finally been announced what it is. It's going to be actually a digital card game for the iPad and iOS systems, and it's being designed by the Gary Games, the guys who came out with Ascension, but with input from Richard Garfield, who did Magic the Gathering. It has a pretty hefty Kickstarter going on right now. They want $250,000, but they're a good chunk of the way there. In Scotland, they set the record for the most played hours of a game. Seems like I just announced this, but this time they've done it with Small World. So congratulations. They're coming out with a deluxe version of Get Bit in a tin with the different, the little people look different now, so that's going to be cool. Christopher Bollinger has a new game coming out called Archipelago. And he's posted the rules up that looks really neat. So that's a game that I like to tell you about. And let's see, Ares Games has several new games that are coming out at Gen Con. We already talked about the War of the Ring expansion, Lords of Middle-earth, but they also have their Wings of Glory and their Atzilan, which is kind of like a Euro game. That's the board gaming news. All right, this is Jet Up, one of my dogs. All right, let's talk about Dice Tower Network news. This week, Ludology number 38 has been released, where they talk about maps, geography, and spatial relationships in games. Not just another gaming podcast, number 21 is finally out, where they talk about Dice Tower Convention and DexCon. They also interview several people, including Richard Launius. Shut Up and Sit Down has come out with their second audio podcast, where they talk about several games, review over several of them, and talk about a couple games that they hate. Secret Cabal number 23 is out, where they review Nuns on the Run and talk about RPG characters they like to play. Flip the Table number 8 doesn't talk about just one game, but 3 arcade games, or arcade games turned into board games like Pac-Man and Donkey Kong. And Dice Tower number 267 is coming out tomorrow. And in that, we have special guests Cody and John from the podcast Game On. We'll be talking about several games, including Descent 2.0 and D-Day Dice, and games that we're looking forward to coming out. All this in preparation next week for our Gen Con preview episode. Oh yeah, don't forget we have an audio podcast from Remy Gibson that comes out 2 or 3 times a week with all this news on it, and you can find all of it at Dicetowernews.com, sponsored by Game Salute. All right, in video reviews, we have a ton of games that we have to get reviewed before Gen Con. We also, Z and I will be doing Gaming Potpourri number 2 this week. And here are the games that I plan to review this week, some of them with Miami Dice, some of them with my daughters. We have Farmageddon, a new game from Stronghold we have called Milestones. We'll be talking about the expansions for First and Goal from R&R Games. Evolution, a game from a Russian publisher, and its expansion. Chupacabra. Off Your Radar, Dominion base cards, Aeroplane, a new Mayfair game designed by Martin Wallace, Dice Safari from Stratus Games, Heap, which feels like feels like a Warhammer 40k game, but it's not. Camelot Legends, that's a kind of a way back look game. Dice Capades Action Princess game. You can imagine, I'm gonna have the girls help me with that one. And Go Hoops. Whew. That's quite a bit. Chief's going to be taking a look at Collapsible D, Titanic, and Ryan will be reviewing Rise and the Logo board game. So that's a lot of board games coming up. I hope that you enjoy them. Don't forget, you can always donate to the Dice Tower. You can find information about that, and as well as all information about our show, past reviews and stuff at Dicetower.com. Until next week, when I'm allowed back in my house, I'm Tom Vasel.
Find all this and more at Dicetower.com. See you soon.